Okay, debate log 1, let's go. First of all, I appreciate your interest. I thank everyone for getting back to me. I hope you'll maintain your interest throughout the process. It should be a lot of fun. As of now, however, we only have 4 members, and so until we get that 5th member, I think we're going to take the rules pretty loosely. That means don't worry about the timeline, don't worry about mandatory submissions, submit if you have something to say, which you should. It's an interesting issue coming up, and hopefully once we get in the groove, once we get a few motions discussed and topics discussed, we will attract more interest and that 5th member will come on. But until then, let's get going. Oh, and also submissions should be sent to debatevlog, which is the same as this username, @gmail.com, and that's the email address that I've set up. You send it to that email address, and I'll post your video on this site. It's really easy. Okay, so the debate is going to start out, should a prohibitive tax be placed on soda? And this issue is extremely current. In New York, the New York City Health Commissioner, who's Thomas Frayden, is proposing legislation that would make soda in New York prohibitively expensive. Now I'll argue that this is a good idea, and I'll argue that it's a good idea for several reasons. If we think about soda and what constitutes it, we can pretty readily and easily come to the conclusion that soda is not a food, and it certainly is not a necessary substance for the body. In fact, it is in many cases a harmful substance, and if consumed in large amounts, a deadly substance. Since we tax alcohol and cigarettes for both being not necessary and harmful, it's no different than to tax soda. Now, secondly, another important issue to consider is monetary concerns, which means for every case of someone drinking soda in an unhealthy way, which usually leads to outrageous obesity, this person becomes sickly overweight, the taxpayers have to fork out for the healthcare for this person. Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but prohibitively taxing soda does have monetary benefits in that by reducing the amount of people that would consume soda, or by reducing the amount of soda that these people consume, you're going to witness less instances of people seeking care related to obesity and other dietary issues that have to do with an overconsumption of sugar and their related negative effects. Okay, this is an interesting argument as well. Placing a prohibitive tax would not only make it more expensive for consumers, and low-income consumers especially, to make it more difficult for them to buy these soda, but it would make it more tempting for them to go to the healthier choices. This is obvious. However, children, and many people forget, also have low amounts of disposable income. Now, this is important to consider because children who are in school, or who have a route home past the local grocery store and pick up a few items to drink for lunch or a snack, frequently can buy soda because it's so inexpensive. So a prohibitive tax would benefit greatly the people who could most afford to be benefited by it, and that's poor families and children in schools. And finally, and most obviously, the tax would generate income for the state to use on any number of programs, which would help the citizens in the long run much more than cheap soft drinks. Also, a small point, but in the state that is being proposed, New York, 72% of New Yorkers polled were in favor of this idea, so not unpopular, not hard to pass, should the group agree that it's a good idea. I leave the floor open. Feel free to submit, feel free to disagree, of course, and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.